Hey guys, this is Key again with my second battle report. This time it's my vampire counts against a different Warriors of Chaos army. We're only playing 2,400 points rather than 25, so it's a completely different army. So let's get started with deployment. On his left, he set up, or on his right, he set up the Chimera, our left, with a unit of trolls towards the center. He's proxying Marauder horsemen as hounds, so there's 5 hounds in front, followed by a unit of 5 knights. So in that unit of 5 Nurgle knights, he put his Chaos Lord Sorcerer, level 4, with the mutation to allow for a 5th spell and the 5-up channel. Charm Shield, 4-up Ward, Talisman, Mark and Nurgle, and I didn't learn this till too late, unfortunately, Ogre Blade. As well as he has his BSB in there, just Mark and Nurgle, completely naked. He didn't have enough points for any items on there. He has Throg and a unit of 7 trolls on the right, as well as 5 more hounds. And then on his left flank, our right flank, he has another Chimera and 3 Blood Crushers. Starting off with our right flank, I have all the way on the right a unit of 10 Black Knights. Unfortunately, they're not painted yet, but they will get there, as well as a Vampire Hero, level 2, on a Barded Nightmare, with Quick Blood, Beguile, Talisman of Endurance, Power Stone, and the Heavy Armor and Shield. And then also on the right, because I was really worried about those Blood Crushers for some reason, I had a Vargulf as well. And then in the middle, I had this clusterfuck. Excuse my language. There's the 50 zombies with my Vampire Lord, who was a level 4, Master of the Black Arts. Somebody advised me on doing that in the last video, so I decided not to try it. With Beguile, Armor of Destiny, Channeling Staff, a shield, and Sword of Swift Slang. Sorry. With 6 Cryptors in the middle, followed by a Corpse Cart with Balefire, and a Tomb Banshee, and another 50 zombies on the left with a level 1 Necromancer, and all he has is a Dispel Scroll. And then all I have protecting my left flank is a unit of skeletons, which comes to really hurt me in the end. Alright, so going over the Warriors of Chaos Sorcerer, he has Stream of Corruption, Curse of the Leper, Fleshy Abundance, Rancid Visitation, and Plague Wind. And on my end, I'm doing this in the order I rolled. My Vampire Hero has Winds of Undeath and Invocation. Vampire Lord has Dance Macabre, Hellish Vigor, Curse of Years, and Invocation. And my level 1 only has Invocation. And on to turn 1, you can see I just end up moving up like so. I really have no concern about moving up except for on the right flank. And on the right flank, I just try to move up so that I'm technically in his charge range, so that he has to take the leadership test, but I'm not close enough that he actually wants to charge me. So we move on to my first magic phase. I gained 6 dice, so the reroll of Master of Dark Arts didn't really help me here. But I cast, Invocation of Nehek for my level 1 on 2 dice. He just lets it go, so zombies come back. I didn't write down how many. And then I try and cast Dance Macabre to try and get another movement phase again, to just be closer. And he dispels that via dice. And I cast Invocation of Nehek on 1 dice for my level 4, and it fails. And as you can see here, I got back 7 zombies. And since there's no shooting and no combat yet, we move on to his turn 1. And as you can see, he moves up like so. He moves his other Chimera from the left flank all the way over to the front right. His right flank, our left flank, and he moves his Sorcerer Lord out of his Nurgle Knights just to get him out of harm's way. And since I have nothing on the left flank, and that's gonna really hurt me. And he ends up moving the Blood Crushers up just a slight amount so that he can try and get the charge off next turn. Um, I think he's still out of range, or I might still be out of range, which is what scares me. So we move on to his magic phase, and I believe he gets 6 dice, I get 4 dice. He casts Curse of the Leper on the skeletons, and I just let it go because, you know, it reduces my toughness down by, I think he rolled a 1 on it. So they're at toughness 2. And then he casts Rancid Visitation on the skeletons and fails. His reason being is he wants to get my toughness down lower and then hit me with Rancid Visitation, which hits me with a number of hits. And then I have to take a toughness test. And if I don't pass the toughness test, it goes again and again. So that's a deadly combination, and he tries that over and over again. So you can see on top of turn 2 VC, I don't move forward. I was 17 inches away from the Blood Crushers, and my Vargulf could go in, but my Blood Knight or my Black Knight, it's a little far from them. I'd need a 10 on 2d6 out of the 3d6. So I'm a little skeptical about that, and I'm not sure that I can get, or those 10 Black Knights would be able to deal with those 3 Blood Crushers, just because I've never fielded 10 Black Knights before. So I was a little too hesitant. And as you can see in the center, I really don't do much movement. My Banshee does get up there and is just perfectly in between the Knights and the Trolls. Um, so that's something to worry about. But on the left, we have the Chimera, so I turn to kind of make sure that that Chimera is in my front arc. I don't want a flank shot by it. And we move on to the second magic phase, for second top magic phase, and we get 11 dice to 6. 12. I try and cast the 12-inch version of Invocation of Nehek on my level 1, and he lets that go. And then I cast Curse of Years on Throg's Trolls, and he lets it go again. 0 wounds, and then I try and do the 12-inch version on my level 4, and he dispels that. And then for shooting, my Banshee just does nothing into those knights. Snake Eyes just kills me. And so on the right flank, he pulls the trigger and charges my Blood Knights, which scares me. They're not at the strength 6, they're at strength 4, so because I didn't charge. So I I think that unit's gone, but we'll see how it turns out. And then in the center, he tries to funnel everything that I have with his dogs so that I can't really charge with my Cryptors, and I don't know where things are going. I kind of am just stuck there at this point. And then on the left, he pulls this thing off. So we move on to magic. He gets 6 dice, I get 3. And he fails to dispel Curse of the Years on 2 dice. So it does 1 wound that turn, and he tries to he casts Fleshy Abundance on his trolls, using the remaining 4 dice, and I fail to dispel that with the 3. And this is just nasty. During his shooting phase, he gets both chimeras to flame template into my skeletons, and ends up doing a total of 25 wounds. So it was like 34 or 30 to 40 hit. So it's just, those chimeras are nasty with breath weapons. And here you can see the damage. Just half the unit is gone. It's a shame. So we move on to combat, and I actually win combat by 1. I think he did 4 wounds to me. I did 3 wounds to him, and I have a rank and I have a banner. So I might have done 4 wounds to him. So I have a rank and a banner. He has a charge. I win by 1, which shocked me. So he flew. He fleed. Out of range for the BSB. He just ran, and I tried to follow him, and I rolled 3 ones. So yeah, that was enjoyable. So we move on to top of turn 3, and I have to do something with these skeletons. So I just charge. Like, I have to get them out of there. I might as well tar pit and try with Invocation of Nehek to allow those skeletons to last 2 turns. We'll see how long they last. And I'm too scared to do anything, so I just stand there, hoping that I don't, hoping that he does something to open me up to get a little bit of help. But I don't think that there is anything that he would do that would get me out of this position. I don't know what I can do, so I just sit there. And then the last thing was that I charged the Skull Crushers with my Vargeist to try and just push them further off the board. My Vargeist didn't catch them, they didn't run off the board, but they're very close. So I moved forward 6, and that's about it. So we move on to my magic phase, and once again I get 11 and to his 6. The Master of the Dark Arts is just really helping at this point. And I cast Invocation of Nehek on 4 dice for my level 1. I Irresistible, and I get the roll that's he loses up to D6 or D3 with levels. Since he's only a level 1, he's just no longer a wizard. It does, however, give me 7 skeletons back, so I'm up to 32, and more zombies, which is always good. Then I cast the 6-inch version from my level 2 on 2d6, and he lets it go, so I get 3 Black Knights back. So it's almost back at full strength. I've recast Curse of Years on 4 dice, and he dispels that. So I'm just trying to keep that thing on it so that it does more damage, but that doesn't help. And I cast Danse Macabre on 1 dice, and I fail it. So I was trying to get, I believe I tried to put it on my corpse cart so I would have always strikes first if he charged me. And then comes my shooting phase, and I try and Hound the Knights again, and I roll a 4. So the Banshee's really not working out. And so we go into combat, and he just decimates. He kills a total of 26 skeletons, including combat res. So I'm really happy that I got Invocation off. It's going to hold him up so that he can't charge next turn. So it just holds him up for 1 full turn, and that's all I can get him for, but I'll take it. And so once again, he inches closer. It seems I forgot some pictures in this turn or this phase. He did end up taking the chimeras are behind my units, so they're on my in my rear. And so both chimeras are just sitting behind the cryptors, and the uh, the blood knights did rally, or blood crushers did rally. So they're back in the action too. They didn't move at all. They're in the back right of the table. And we move on to his magic phase, and he rolls a 4, and so I get 3, and of course I get 2 channels. So it's 4 to 5, and all he does is cast Rancid Visitation on my Banshee, and he fails to cast that. I don't even need my Dispel dice. Right now would be a great time for the magic item that allows me to take two into my next phase, but unfortunately I don't have that. And he kills off the rest of the skeletons and reforms to the flank of my zombies. So I'm in trouble here. I think I'm still in front, but he might still be in front, which is why I'm not too worried. But uh, we'll see what happens. And so the top of turn 4 starts off with me charging the Blood Crushers with both units, and unfortunately, the Black Knights don't get in, so just the Vargulf gets in there, and that scares me. I don't think the Vargulf can last up to these guys. And afraid, I just turn my corpse cart to the side to try and just block those two chimeras from getting into the rear of my cryptors. I just don't know what else to do. I don't charge. Again, I'm too afraid to pull the trigger. I don't know how to pull the trigger. So, and which matchups would be good. So, um, I don't think that 6 cryptors can do anything, unfortunately. So, I need to get off that fear. So my magic phase starts, and once again, I get 11 dice to 6, and those 75 points for Master of the Dark Arts is just paying off. Um, I cast Wind of Undeath or Death on 4 dice and the Power Stone on my level 2, and he dispel scrolls that, so it's not an irresistible. I was trying to get it to go off and go straight into the side of his lines, um, but unfortunately he sees that and he just gets rid of it right away. And I cast Curse of Years again on Throg's Trolls, and he lets that go. And I try and cast a large version of Don's Macabre, and he dispels that. I needed either Don's Macabre to go off or Wind of Undeath to go off for me to have a chance, and or because I was too afraid of those lines because I was not doing anything to them the entire time of the game. I just couldn't do any damage to it. Um, so he was going into close to full strength. And so in my shooting phase, the Banshee finally does a wound, but only one against the Knights. So it just. So in our combat phase, the Vargulf actually wins combat by does one wound, so he and takes none, so he wins combat by 2, and they run off the board. I chase just to make sure that they're gone. I don't know why I'm so afraid of the Blood Crushers, but I was. So I chased them and just wanted them off the board, and yeah. And so on the top or bottom of turn 4, he charges everything. Um, I still don't think that those trolls, which he's converted into werewolves, were in my flank. but I kind of let it go when he took out the tool. But I still, I still don't think they were in my flank. I still think they were in my front. Um, it's because we were going by the movement tray and not the base itself, but what's done is done, and he just charges with everything, as you can see. It's just nasty. The only thing I'm grateful for is he didn't get Throg in with the trolls. He just didn't have room for him, and he even charges my Banshee with his general, which I was happy about because I thought he didn't have a magic weapon. He didn't. If we found out later, he did because he wants to just roll everything at the strength 5 that the knights are. So he gave him the +1 strength 1 just for sake of ease when he's playing. And so we move on to his magic phase. He rolls a 5, I get 3, and he casts Rancid Visitation on all his dice on the Banshee. And I'm thinking that he's in combat with my Necromancer. He's in base to base. He can just kill him off. He has nothing else. I might as well use the spell scroll now while he's still alive because he may not be alive next turn. So he first off goes into my corpse cart with his chimeras and just destroys the corpse cart and overruns into my cryptors. So my idea of somehow preventing that from happening, it doesn't. He goes into the cryptors, and because he has to challenge his BSB challenges, and uh my champion, my haunter, agrees, and he does like a wound to the haunter, and I do nothing back, even though he's completely naked. It, it's just sad. Um, and he ends up wiping them out due to combat res, I believe. Yeah, to combat res. And as you can see, he just annihilates this unit of zombies. I do like 2 wounds back, and everything else just doesn't do anything. Um, so he ends up killing about 25, and I lose combat by like 25. So a unit of like 75 ish or zombies just goes down to 25. Just 2/3 of the unit just gone. Um, it's insane the amount of damage those trolls with additional hand weapons can do in this book. It's just insane. And then my Banshee just dies without even being able to strike back. So his general wins. So we move on to the top of turn 5, and it's go big or go home time, like it wasn't a couple turns ago. Um, I reform my Black Knights. I charge with the zombies, with the Vampire Lord, just to get them into combat. They might as well be, rather than taking the charge, and my Vargolf moves up into the back ranks to try and get in position for a charge. And in the turn 5 magic phase, I get 11 to his 7 dice. He does get a channel off, and I cast the 12-inch version of Invocation of Nehek on 3 dice to try and get the other zombies um, some wounds back, though it just doesn't matter at this point. Um, and he lets that one go. And I try and cast the large Dance Macabre to give them always strikes first and everything, just to help every little bit. And on 3 dice, I Irresistible, which kills 7 zombies and does 2 wounds to the trolls, more wounds than pretty much anything else did. Um, and I lose 4d6 from the pool, which hurts. Um, and I cast Hellish Vigor on 1 dice, and he foolishly throws uh, all 7 dice at Hellish Vigor to prevent that, and he forgets about Curse of Years, so Curse of Years does 2 wounds. So in combat, my Vampire Lord does do like 4 wounds, but that's it. Because he doesn't have Red Fury. He just I can't afford Red Fury and the Master of the Dark Arts, so he only does 4 wounds, which surprised my opponent. And he does like 15 wounds back and kills a lot of the zombies to tar pit, but it is what it is. So you see that his trolls just annihilate the uh, the remaining zombies. They're just completely gone. And you can see up on the top of the picture, I didn't have a picture of it before. Dance Macabre did allow me to move my Vargeist closer to his general, just hoping to just kind of force my way into combat with the general. Um, it didn't work. And so you can see on his turn, it just doesn't work. His general just goes right behind the Vargeist. It's a one time, oh my god, kind of, I feel stupid uh, after he did that kind of move. Um, his knights just wheel like 120 degrees to into my flank. His trolls just move forward into my flank and to kind of face my Vargeist. And his chimeras just fly over and cover the other flank to make sure that if my Black Knights join the combat and, you know, even if it wins combat, it's not going to be really able to overrun without being threatened with a rear attack. So, yeah. And we move on to the 5th Warriors of Chaos Magic phase. And he gets 6 dice, I get 4. He casts Curse of the Leper on my Vargolf, and it's just dispelled. Then he does Fleshy Abundance on Throg, and I let that go because I have no dice left. And he forgets Curse of Years again, so 2 wounds remains. It's picking off at the the unit, but it's doing nothing. So combat happens again, and I'm looking at this picture, because I don't have a picture of the combat. I lose combat by 5, maybe 6. Um, really, nothing happens, no headway either way. So, I'm looking at this at the beginning of my turn 6, and I just don't know what there is I can do to win. If I charge in, and even if I win combat, I run or chase with the Black Knights, I'm going to be in the rear of the general, of the two chimeras, so the Black Knights are going to be gone, and my zombie unit's just going to get rocked by the trolls on their side or the knights on that side. I don't think there's a way for me to win, so rather than dragging it on for the 6th turn, I concede, and we can move on to what I did wrong and where I can go from here. And so we move on to lessons learned, and I need to fucking pull the trigger. Excuse my language, but I just need to pull the damn trigger. I need to charge. I need to just put myself out there and not be afraid of my units not being able to kill. Um, that's really my biggest fear, because Black Knights in the last game did not do anything, and I don't feel like I have enough Cryptors built and painted to or even bought to do any damage. So it kind of I'm in this area where I don't feel like I have any VC hurt. However, um, chimeras, oh my god, chimeras are just nasty. In that book, they're way too good, and kill units, for, units for VC does kill. Um, I just have to take enough of it. I need 10 Black Knights if I'm going to do them. I don't need 5, but 10, and it actually does something, which I'm happy about. Trolls are just nasty with the additional hand weapon. They hurt 30, I think he had like 35, 36 attacks with them, and it just hurt when they were in my side. Um, and they hurt when they were against my skeletons. That's all I can say. Blood Crushers are no more nasty than anything else in that list. I don't know why I've been so afraid of them when they were on that flank. I didn't move my Vargolf over to the other side to help out or do anything. I don't know why I was more afraid of the Blood Crushers than anything else, but I really shouldn't have been. They don't have a rank. Um, they rely on killing things to do anything, and my Black Knights, hell, my Vargolf was able to fight off too, which shows you. And I don't really have faith in my Vargolf to do anything. So that surprised me. The Vargolf surprised me. It can deal with things on the side and the flank, and I'm definitely seeing more of a place for it. I might switch to Vargeist once I start doing things, but the Vargolf does have a place, and that surprised me as well.